Hello my friends and welcome back to my bathroom. I got some time to kill before I have to go run errands and be productive and all that stuff. I'm kind of putting it off a little bit. You know, it's so cold out, I don't feel like leaving the house right now, so I figured I'd just do a little chit chat, a little girls talk in my bathroom. This video today is for anyone who has suffered through the beautiful and natural but torturous experience of having a menstrual cycle. And if you've never had a menstrual cycle before, that's okay. You can still watch this video and learn something about what this joyous experience is like. I didn't get my period until high school. I was a really late bloomer. My younger sister actually got her period before I did. She has like a hormonal disease that caused her to go through puberty at a really young age. Like I'm talking, she had her period in like 3rd or 4th grade. So she had been having her periods for years before I ever did. So I kind of knew what I was getting into based on my sister's experiences with periods and what my mom had told me. They both had really bad periods, horrible cramps, and so I was dreading getting my period. I did not want to get it. First of all, like, I did not want to become a woman because there's this whole like stigma that once you get your period, you're a woman. Which, frankly, that's a little bullshit because there's women who don't have periods and there's people who have periods who don't identify as women. So that's not like the key to womanhood. It's just like a bodily function, like going to the bathroom or something. So I didn't want to be a woman. I didn't want to grow up, and I also thought periods were like the worst thing ever just based on what my mom and sister had said. I was dreading getting my period so bad that I would literally pray every time I went to the bathroom when I was like 13 because all my friends were starting their period around that age, and anytime I felt like a stomach pain that I thought was abnormal, even though it was probably just like gas or indigestion, I like thought it was cramps, so I'd go to the bathroom, you know, to check, and the whole way going to the bathroom I'd be like, please God, please let me still be a kid, please don't let me start my period, and then I'd be relieved when I did it. But you know, eventually I did start my period. I think I was like 16 or 17. I just know I was definitely one of like the last girls that I knew that started it. I actually started my period, thankfully, during Christmas break, so it wasn't at school. I was just chilling at home. That does not mean I don't have my fair share of traumatic period experiences, because I definitely do. I had horrible cramps. Like I'm talking, I would throw up or pass out because the pain was so bad. And I could feel like the egg or whatever moving through my tubes. Like it felt like I was passing like a rock. I also had a blood flow that would have put Niagara Falls to shame. And I'm sorry if that's gross or nasty, but it's the truth. Like I couldn't help it. I just had a really heavy flow. Because I had a heavy flow, I would ruin so many cute pairs of underwear and so many pairs of jeans that it became to the point where I would only wear black leggings and black yoga pants on my period, just like cheap ones from like, you know, JCPenney's or wherever my mom got them, because I knew that if I bled through, you wouldn't really be able to tell because it's, you know, a dark color, and then also it's a cheap legging, so it doesn't matter if I ruined it. One time I remember I was in like history class in high school. I remember sitting there, and you know when you're flowing heavy, like you can feel it. So I was sitting there in my desk. I knew that the bell was gonna ring soon, and I was dreading standing up because I thought just like something was gonna happen. Something just, I didn't know if my maxi pad had my back at that moment. I didn't trust her. I was just like, oh my God, please, please, please be okay. The bell rings, and I stand up. I bend over to my desk to pick up the books and stuff that I had placed on it, and as I look down, I noticed droplets of blood on the seat. Mind you, everyone's getting up, moving around, and I panic. I'm like, what do I do? I can't just sit back down on the desk and cover it. Like, I got classes to go to. So I have a pencil in my hand, and I just pretend to drop it, reach over, and as I'm reaching over, I make sure my arm like hits where the blood was, so it gets onto my arm. And of course, I was wearing a t-shirt that day, so I just have blood on my bare arm, and I'm like, okay, I'll just say I have a cut or something. So I'm like trying to hide it, this arm that has period blood on it, and I get my stuff, I go to the bathroom, wash it off, so no one saw it or anything like that, but I just remember feeling so gross and so disgusting and unhygienic, even though it was something I couldn't help. It was just a natural thing, and I just felt so ashamed. And I think there's a lot of stigma too, that periods are these gross and nasty and shameful things that people who menstruate, we shouldn't talk about them, and it's so taboo. And you should discreetly put tampons in your purse. Like in tampon commercials, they won't even show a drop of blood, instead have women like doing backflips and stuff, which I have never once in my life felt like doing a backflip on my period. That's like the last thing I would want to do. So for me, this was becoming a big problem. I was missing like 7 to 10 days of school every month because my periods lasted long. They were hard and they were long. So finally, I went to an OBGYN. I definitely recommend for anyone with a uterus, go to OBGYN. It's not that scary. It's a little awkward. I'm gonna be real with you, it's a little awkward, but it's worth it to make sure everything's okay down there. So I was prescribed a specific birth control with an amount of hormones in it that work for my body, and it's changed my life. I no longer feel controlled by my period. I no longer dread it. It's not a sickness. It shouldn't feel like a sickness. So that's why I'm a huge proponent for free or affordable birth control, because I know mine is $75 a month, which is a hell of a lot of money to be spending on something I need to function properly and to not, be in so much pain I want to go to the ER for a week a month. Like, that's not normal. I have to have this birth control. Thankfully, I can afford the $75 a month, but there's people who can't. I definitely think it's something that in America we should have. Anyway, that's my little soapbox rant for the day. Some of my other period tips, if maybe going on the pill is not right for you, invest in a good heating pad. That has saved my life numerous times. The icy hot patch is really good too. And think of your period as like your week of relaxation. Like when it's your period, maybe watch your favorite guilty pleasure shows or eat a cupcake for dinner. Just treat yourself. Oh, also, can we talk about ovulation cramps for a minute here? In 5th grade when they show us that puberty are changing bodies video, they never tell you about ovulation cramps. I've had ovulation cramps that are as bad or worse than period cramps, and that's 2 weeks after your period, your body ovulates. It's a different cramping sensation. It's more like precise, like pinprick pain. No one told me growing up that like ovulation, you'd have discharge and you'd also feel cramps. So that's another thing that I feel like no one talks about, but I get ovulation cramps and they're just as bad. That concludes my little rant. I hope you guys enjoyed this girl talk. Let me know if you want more videos like this in the future, and comment in the section your period stories. I think this is something that we should be able to talk about and that it shouldn't be taboo, and I love hearing other people's experiences. So I'm gonna go run some errands now, because if I don't leave the house now, I'm never gonna leave the house. I'm just gonna stay inside all day and not be productive. And I'll catch you guys on the flip side.